Hey, this is Dan, just at the start of the episode to say this episode is sponsored by my comic book series Grey, which another issue of is currently funding on Kickstarter. I'll talk a bit more about that partway through the episode. Hello and welcome to Hey, I Loved That Movie, the podcast where we rewatch the films we loved when we were younger to see if they still hold up. I'm Dan.
I'm Michael.
I'm Helena.
And I'm Poppy.
And
Ooh.
for this episode, we watched Superman 4, The Quest for Peace.
I want to apologise to everyone for picking this film.
Thank you. Why did what?
Yeah. No, how dare you?
I just felt like I hadn't picked a film that just truly, unapologetically sucked yet.
What did you pick last time?
Jack Frost, but that's
That
besides the
was it.
point.
No.
Hey, no, that
No.
film was interestingly bad.
Yeah, Helena loved that one.
Yeah, I had a
For
good
some
time watching that
reason.
film because I did not know what to expect. This film, not Spider-Man, Superman 4,
Spider-Man 4.
told me exactly what to expect and was still a disappointment.
The reaction I got from Dan to this movie was fantastic because for listeners of the podcast, we try not to talk too in depth about the movies we've watched because you want to save it for the podcast, obviously. But sometimes I'll drop Dan a message like, yeah, I watched this, it was good, or yeah, I watched that, wasn't great. And for this one, he just left me a message that said, I watched Superman 4. I have some notes.
Yeah. Normally we try and go through the plot, but I feel like, so the review I left on Letterboxd, I feel like is a good enough plot synopsis, which is, evil Superman makes an inconvenience, and Superman fixes it, and this goes on and back and forth for 90 or so minutes until the movie just sort of ends.
Yeah.
I've already forgotten what happens to Nuclear Man.
He dies.
Did he go? Okay.
It goes
Yep, I remember
into-
now.
Poppy, did you watch this as a kid? I hope so.
Yeah, no, please, sorry, you had a good
Yeah,
reason for making us watch this.
Has anyone seen the other Christopher Reeve Superman films?
The
No.
only
For
bit,
context.
the only bit
The
I know
first
I've
one.
seen is like from the first one where he flies around the Earth so quickly it goes back in time, and the bridge
The other
rebuilds.
ones, while that scene is a bit silly, the other ones are good. And I feel so terrible that this was your first sort of foray into the Christopher Reeve Superman films because the other ones slap. But yeah, this one was just a big
It
old.
doesn't so much. I mean, it slaps in the way that you might slap someone across the face with a large fish.
Yeah.
Yeah.
First, can we talk about the opening titles?
Yes, the credits
Yeah.
that seem like it was made on PowerPoint.
It was
like-
made by the same people that made our favourite film, Titan AE.
Oh, seriously?
Wait, when you say the same company, which one? Because there were about 27 that made Titan E.
I mean, I'm just assuming.
Yeah.
Nah,
it's
like the company that made this intro lasted long enough to do Titan AE.
Yeah.
They
The
might have.
intro
Titan E
with-
killed about 7 companies.
The word art looking animations flying across the screen over
Yeah.
what is almost a static image of the Earth from space because it moves very, very slowly. That goes on for almost 3 minutes of this film
Was
that
that
runs
it?
for less than an hour and a half.
It felt like so much longer.
The first thing I've typed in was, Christ, not even the opening credits have aged well.
No, I think I was looking at Wikipedia at that point. It had already switched off.
Or,
into-
already zoned
yeah,
out.
look at it on the page. All I
Yeah.
saw was someone quoting it as the worst film ever made, and I was like, I need to see if it lives up.
It
to
was
that hype.
concerning when I put this in, to find a totally legitimate copy to watch. All that came up at first was videos of why is Spider-Man 4 the worst Spider? Why is
Spider-Man
Superman?
4? No, let's discuss that. Why is Spider-Man 4 the worst Spider-Man?
It's because they were going to have John Malkovich as the Vulture, and I feel like they would have gone down the route of trying to make it so he does steal people's age.
I've got to tell you, I do own it on DVD.
Is that as
I-
part of like a 4-part set?
Yes,
or-
I do want to clarify. I did not buy this movie by itself.
He just
it
had all
was
the others
part
and was
of
like
a
itching
big
to
box
complete
set.
that collection.
Trilogy plus bonus disc, we're sorry.
Trilogy, but we can't
See,
get rid of these, so have it.
They promised that they'd sell X amount of DVDs, so they stuck it in free with the trilogy.
Yeah. It wasn't necessarily free, you got it forced upon you.
Yeah, like that U2 album.
Yeah.
Or a post I saw on Reddit the other day where someone ordered a Han Solo bookmark and they posted it to them in a DVD copy of Catwoman.
Fair.
So the first actual scene in this movie the green screen is just atrocious.
There's not a good green screen moment.
It
Yeah,
looks
no, the
so
green screen
bad.
is never good.
Yeah, I resent films that immediately remind me that I can no longer speak Russian.
The random opening scene in which Superman flies into space to save a Russian astronaut.
It's just to sort of remind you that it's the space race and thus the Cold War.
Yeah,
So
Right?
that Superman will rescue anyone no matter their race, I guess. I don't know.
yeah. Something that is brilliant about that scene, and I will stand by it. So one of them is outside of the ship,
Mhm.
and there's like something hurtling towards them. And there's a frame or two where the thing hits the model. That's like the person on the outside of the ship.
Yeah, it sort of
hits the
slows
model, and
down a
the
bit,
head,
doesn't it?
no, the head of the model flies off. Because I saw that, I spent like 5 minutes watching that a bit because the head just. I recommend everyone, if you watch it, pay attention. The head of the model shoots across the room, and then it cuts back to him, Superman carrying him. It's great. It's perfect.
It's not difficult to find this movie online. I think that's always a pretty bad sign when
no,
they
that's
can't be asked to cease and desist any of these like streaming
Yeah,
sites.
they've given up.
They just don't care.
Yeah.
It's the first thing that comes up when you
Yeah.
type in watch online free. If
But-
you do that, of course, I pay
No,
for
we
all
all
my
do it properly.
content. Of course, you know.
It's
I
sort
don't
of-
use my
they
mum's
put it out
Netflix
there as
account.
a warning, like if you pirate movies, this is what you'll get.
You might end up with this.
You wouldn't
So
watch
the-
Superman 4.
So to go through the plot as quickly and as vaguely as possible, because I barely remember it.
Well, the next
Yeah.
part's Clark Kent returning to Kent Farm, where
Yes.
his dead mother gives him an all-powerful glow stick from Krypton.
Yes, the
Yeah,
voice that was
yeah.
coming from nowhere.
The voice comes from the green circle in the floor, clearly.
Yeah.
It's like his
I-
last tether to the Klingons or whatever they. No, that's
Yeah,
the wrong
no,
one.
the Klingons.
Yeah.
So the Klingons.
I was just thinking they're the little mouse people from the moon, but that's the clangers.
Yeah.
I'm all for establishing your all-powerful weapon in the first scene. You know, like Chekhov's gun is a trope for a reason, but
Yeah.
they really just hit you over the head with it. Like, yeah, you're gonna need this, Clark.
And then he just
Also-
kind of leaves it in his pocket, hung
Yeah.
up
Yeah.
on a fence.
Did I just zone out, or does he not use it?
I don't remember him using
I
it
zoned out.
No,
as
I
well.
Do
don't
you not
think-
use it?
I don't think
Okay.
he uses it
because he uses the moon.
Yeah, because
it?
the
That's
guy is
true.
powered by the sun, so they have to get him away from the sun. He doesn't use the kryptonite
What
dagger
was the
whatsoever.
all-powerful glow stick for?
Yeah,
Oh, does he use it to
best
heal him?
raid-
He uses
the
it to
best
heal
raid
himself,
ever.
doesn't he?
It's for the
I'm
best
gonna be
raid
honest,
ever.
I was
I think because he
on
gets
YouTube during the last scene.
I was
he
on
gets
Wikipedia
cat
for the
scratched
fact,
by Mr. Nuclear.
which we're going to talk about that at some
Yeah,
point.
because
that's
that guy
brilliant.
he has a manicure and a half, and
That's incredible.
Mr. Nuclear scratches him and he gets a cold,
Yeah,
Yeah,
and then he
doesn't-
gets better by using the green glow stick. I
But
think.
you don't see him use the green glow stick. He just
Do you not?
he just.
Are you
uses
sure
it.
there's not a solid chance you missed him using that?
No.
No,
I'm
he
sure I'd
just-
write in my notes if he was holding a glow stick against him for a bit.
Well, he goes back. He's really poorly, and there's that scene where he goes back and gets the glow stick, and then he's better.
So maybe he does. I don't know.
Yeah,
So Clark doesn't want to sell Kent Farm to this guy who wants to turn it into a shopping mall. He wants to keep it a farm and sell it on.
Yeah,
to,
he only
like, a
wants to
nice
sell it to someone
family.
who wants to make it into a farm.
And I can't remember whether we ever revisit that.
No,
I don't think
that
we
doesn't
do.
come back up.
No, that doesn't
We
matter.
go-
No,
So
I-
they're saving
yeah.
that for the treat that is Spider-Man. Spider-Man.
Spider-Man 5.
Spider-Man 5.
Spider-Man
I
5.
believe there was plans for a sequel after this, but after the reception this
can't
one
imagine.
received, they were just like, no.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they were done. They were done.
Because so basically, you then get Gene Hackman as Lex Luthor. He's in prison, and then Alan from Two and a Half Men is his
Mhm.
nephew.
That's who that was. I
And
Yeah.
didn't
He
know.
comes and he drives and he explodes some police officers and they escape. And then
Lex Luthor's in sort of like, he's in like a chain gang
Yeah, he's in a.
in prison, but he's still wearing a fashionable scarf.
Yes,
That's who he is.
Lex Luthor is high fashion in this film.
yeah, mind
His nephew, I think it's his
Yeah.
nephew
Yeah,
because he
it's
calls
his
him
nephew.
Uncle
Alan
Lex.
from Two and a Half Men is his nephew, and you know this because their first conversation is, my Uncle Lex.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
hello, nephew. Are you here to break me out of prison? Yes, uncle.
And also,
Okay, nephew, let's go.
I'm pretty sure that Alan from Two and a Half Men is currently playing Lex Luthor in
Yes,
one of the
no,
TV
he
shows.
is. Yeah, no, he is.
Oh, it comes full circle.
Yeah.
But he's also called. I think he's called Lenny Luthor,
Yeah.
the nephew. But I was surprised they didn't just go straight with son and father. Why did they go uncle?
Maybe the idea of Lex Luthor having offspring was unpleasant.
So Lex Luthor's brother or sister's offspring.
Yeah.
Brother or sister
Far
that's
more
never
palatable.
brought
Yeah.
up.
Yeah, he has a little not robot controlled, remote control for his car. So he gets the guards.
Yeah.
The guards are all like, "Oh wow, what a great car!" And he's like, "Oh well, do you want to take it for a spin?" And
Yeah.
these guards, these on-duty guards, minding some of the worst convicts.
Hmm.
Lex
So
Luthor
I
and some
assume I
guys.
haven't seen the other films, but I assume Lex Luthor has done some pretty vile shit.
Well, like Superman movie level.
Yeah, like cartoony evil.
Yeah.
Although you do know, well, the one thing we do know that Lex and Lenny are related rather than just having the same first name. Their fashion sense is very similar.
They're
Lenny
both
Luthor,
very extra.
yes, Lenny Luthor's wearing like a weird camp punk outfit.
Yeah,
It's-
it is very punk meets like
It's very Billy
David
Idol.
Bowie.
It's like the character he wished he was in Pretty in Pink.
Wow. But yeah, he breaks Lex out.
Yep. And then the next scene is Superman stopping a train because the driver of the subway has a heart attack.
I
Yeah,
Our
completely
trains
missed
work.
that. Completely missed that.
By
Um,
putting his foot on the live rail,
Yeah.
it just makes it stop. He just
Well, I guess it shorts
sucks
the
up all that
circuit.
energy.
And then he's like, "Don't worry, the subway is still one of the best and safest ways to travel."
Yeah, he's very concerned with letting everyone know that the subway is still great.
Superman in this is very like pro-America. So yeah,
Oh,
it's
he's
very
so
like
fucking irritating. The way he has
pro-corporate
to fix
America.
all these everything that goes wrong. He's always having to
Yeah.
be there to fix stuff, and it.
He's very pro America, but at the end he says something along the lines of I view it as just one world, and it smacks of those people who are like, I don't see color.
Yeah,
Hmm.
no, it's like I see it as only one world. America's most of it, so that's the only thing that really matters.
Hmm.
Yeah, it's so the only thing that I remember after that is Lex cutting Superman. Superman donated a hair.
Yeah, and that makes no sense, right? This scene
No,
really
there's no
annoyed
way he
me
can-
because it's like a single strand of his hair can hold 1,000 pounds, and so they want to steal it to clone Superman, and so they cut it. And
Yeah.
Oh, I thought the
Yeah,
hair
he
was
says-
like it was between two like thingy wires.
No,
Yeah,
they
it was
they
cut
cut
holding
it.
up
those
a
wires.
1,000-pound weight.
Yeah,
But then wouldn't the wires break?
yeah.
With the
It's
weight
just
of
held
the...
up by the hair, and
Yeah.
they just cut the hair to
Well,
steal
maybe
it.
maybe the hair's strong, but it's
Hmm.
not infallible to being cut.
Or
Maybe.
it was a mistake.
Like a spider's web. Like you can break a spider's web, but then it's hella
Yeah.
strong.
Or
And-
it was...
Right, that is not
yeah.
my biggest gripe. I
During-
saved my gripes
during-
for other
yeah.
things.
My main gripe is they didn't apparently hire an audio guy to be on set at any point.
Hmm.
90% of the film is ADR.
Yeah.
That's my main gripe with the thing.
I mean,
Most
so,
of the audio is
I mean, my
replaced.
biggest gripe is that awful satin outfit that Lois Lane is wearing almost the entire film.
That
Oh my
and
god,
fucking-
is she so fucking shiny?
The child is so irritating. That child that's like, I want Superman to help.
yeah,
Yeah,
because
so
while this
he,
is going
he writes
on,
a letter.
yeah,
It's
Yeah.
is it the Cuban Missile Crisis?
it's just
Yeah,
the
it's
general
nuclear-
nuclear war
nuclear-
crisis.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there could be a nuclear war at any
So I
moment.
thought the X-Men sorted this bit out.
God, I
So-
wouldn't give for his
yeah, so
X-Men
this-
film in this style.
This kid's like, they're having like a class, and it's like these little school kids, and the teacher's
Yeah, it's
like,
a class on nuclear war.
yeah, the teacher's like, how would you kids stop nuclear war? It's like,
They have Superman throw the nukes into the sun.
yeah,
Because they say like, oh, we'll send a letter to our local politician, and all the kids are like, yeah, and one kid's like, what good's that gonna do? It's like, shut up, you little shit. That teacher's just trying to like get through this lesson.
and also there's another
Yeah, them kids are hella
company-
jaded.
Yeah,
Yeah, that kid is like, he already knows the world is going to end and has accepted it.
He's got a bunker.
yeah.
Yeah,
So while all this is going on, the Daily Planet is being bought out by a tycoon who wants to make it into a clickbait style tabloid.
Yeah.
With sexy
Um,
babes on the front and
Yeah.
clickbait
Ooh.
headlines like "The world is going to end" and Superman's a
a fuckhead.
yeah.
Superman's a little shit, little fuckhead.
And
Superman's a
then
cunt. And we
plot,
need to
plot
kill him.
twist: the lady that isn't Lois Lane fancies the shit out of Clark Kent.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And also,
she's
Lois
sort of
Lane
set
doesn't-
up to be like, the
Femme fatale.
yeah, but
Yeah.
she kind of turns out to be very nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's
That was a bit
lovely.
unexpected. She really fancies him and
Yeah.
is really awkward about it. Like there's this awful scene where she's trying to like sexily sit on her desk in a pencil skirt and it's just really weird and it's
I
like, can you
thought
imagine
Lois
if the genders
Lane-
were reversed?
Lois Lane was a bit of a buzzkill about it, to be honest. She was like, I'm going to ask Clark out. I think he's really cute. And she went,
Well,
well, I don't
Does-
think he'd go out with someone like you, to be honest.
Well, doesn't Lois
so
Lane
rude.
know Clark Kent's Superman?
No,
Only when it's
not-
convenient for the plot.
It,
and
she
he
seems to
does
forget
the-
fairly
he-
often.
He's got a hypnosis thing because there's a scene where he like talks to her about being Superman, and then she like zones out.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
I was confused because I'd kind of
Mm.
assumed at this point, after 4 fucking movies, she knew who Superman was.
I'm
'Cause it's not
surprised
hard.
literally
I
every
think
fuck. We're not
if I-
talking about the fact that literally every fucker would know just by looking at him, by going.
If I
"That's
took off
just
my
Clark Kent without
glasses, you
glasses."
guys would know what I look like.
His part said differently, but we're not talking about that. That's
No.
the dumbest part about Superman, which is like a.
Yeah. Although he
but
does
I
sort of when
what-
he's like playing when he's being Clark Kent, he does sort of hunch over a bit more, and like his mannerisms
That
are a
doesn't
bit
change.
different.
So,
It doesn't change
oh,
much.
sorry,
but-
that's not Superman.
No,
Clark Kent
no,
leans
sorry.
forward a little bit. He's got worse. No, Clark Kent's got
And he's
much
like
worse
super
posture.
clumsy and unathletic, and he like does his back, throws his back out doing aerobics.
Yeah.
I swear, there's a scene, and I just want to before. Who does he pull the roof off? Who does he try to commit suicide with?
Lois Lane.
Right, so she knows he's Superman.
No, so he jumps off the ledge with her, turns into Superman as she's falling because he can move obviously hella fast, as
Yeah, he
established in
can-
Superman
he's-
1.
He's a quick change artist.
And then flies her around. They have a lovely time. He goes, I don't know what to do about this whole do I get rid of the nuclear warheads thing. She goes, go with your gut, Superman. I believe in you. And then he hypnotizes her and she's back on the balcony, forgets everything up to the point like when she got to the balcony.
Okay,
So
so
she doesn't
not,
remember him jumping off.
She's not just sat
All
there. the
very
whole-
convenient.
How come the whole ride she's not like Jesus Christ?
Well,
Clark Kent is
That
just
bit
held
didn't
himself.
piss me off. I mean, it's kind of dumb, but it's like,
But-
okay, he wanted to talk to Lois Lane as Superman
But
and
the whole-
whatever.
but
But
the
the
whole
thing that
flight-
pisses me off is that double date. Oh,
Yeah.
it was
Oh
just
yeah, that
so
was so
unnecessary.
annoying.
It wasn't funny. It didn't add to the plot.
We'll get to that. I just want to. I want to
There's
call
so much
attention
wrong.
to Superman addressing this like meeting of the nations. Just
Mhm.
walking in and being like, I'm gonna collect all the nukes in the world and I'm gonna throw them into the sun, and everyone's like, yeah. But they didn't even put it to a vote.
I feel like Superman is like chaotic good fascism.
Yeah, hasn't he also
like-
been told not to interfere?
Yeah,
Like,
So-
and then like he goes and speaks to them, and they're like, Kal-El, do not interfere, and he's like, okay,
but
I
fuck
will
it,
bear that in
and
mind.
Do it anyway,
I've taken that information on board.
and decided to ignore it. And I feel
Like-
like throwing a load of nukes into the sun isn't a good idea, and I don't know enough.
I think
to
I think that the sun is
Yeah,
so
I don't know enough
it's a bit
about
like
nukes or
it's
the
a bit
sun.
like putting a drop into the ocean. Like
Mm.
it's you can tell it's happened if
Yeah.
you're looking, but it doesn't actually
Yeah.
make any difference.
But the best
Yeah, I
way that
don't-
he puts the nukes into the sun is he puts them all in a big net, and then he swings in a circle, so he like
Yeah.
spins it, and it's probably a worse green screen effect than when he's flying.
No,
and then
the
lets
flight
go and
is
throws it into the sun.
100% the worst. Yeah, I just feel like throwing nukes into the sun isn't a good move. But
It was the fact that he put them all in a net and just it just the whole
Who
thing
made this
pissed me
net?
off.
And also
yeah.
the great just like affects explosion on top of the sun when they go into it.
Yeah, that was real. What was it?
That's
Apple Movie
remarkable.
Maker,
Yeah,
yeah,
like iMovie or
uh,
something.
iMovie.
People
Yeah.
underestimate how long it takes to travel to the sun,
Yeah.
even if
He-
it was
he-
thrown by Superman.
Yep.
But he moves the Earth so far that it goes backwards.
yeah, but that's his movement, not how far
Oh,
he's throwing
shit.
a load of nukes.
He also just completely fucks with the entire like lunar process at
Yep,
one point.
I
Yeah.
I
Just
figured we
moon
would get
over
that.
a few miles.
We'll get to the whole nuclear man thing. This is pre-nuclear
Yeah.
man.
Yeah.
This is
So,
pre him. So
The next thing is that Lex's response to all this is, first of all, he wants to kill Superman anyway,
Uh-huh.
but also he wants chemical weapons because the money.
Yeah.
He
With
wants to
one- he wants-
resell. Basically, there's a gap in the market now for nuclear and chemical weapons because
Yeah.
someone threw them all into the sun.
Yeah.
His plan is to put the genetically engineered Superman hair into a missile that Superman will
can't
throw into the sun, and it will create an anti-Superman.
It's sort of he makes this weird goo, and he's like, "Yeah, we put the egg in that, and we put the hair in that, and then it will."
Yeah,
and
they
it's,
don't
it's pretty
explain
gross. And it
Yeah.
the whole evolving
Hmm.
birthing scene is pretty unpleasant. So yeah,
Yeah,
he
he
make
comes out as
basically they make a
nuclear
weird
man.
goo, and then Spider-Man, nope,
Yeah, no,
Superman,
Spider-Man.
intercept
Every
thinks he's
time.
being all smart man and intercepts a nuclear warhead and tosses it into the sun because that's his MO at this point.
I just
Yeah.
want to stress how much I hate that every time Gene Hackman says nuclear man, he calls him nuclear man.
Nuclear man. Yeah, he's got a wife and 2 kids.
Nuclear man. he turns into this horrible pink fetus and then into what I can only describe as like Billy Idol meets Thundercats.
Yeah.
He does have insane hair.
Yeah,
And
he's got
nails.
80s hair.
Yeah.
His nails also change.
Well, yeah, that's part of his
got
nuclear man powers. I'm really,
Magic superpowered nails.
really self-aware about how I
All
say
by
it
the
now.
sun.
Yeah, I've never thought about how I say
Nuclear
nuclear.
Man.
Nuclear.
Before we talk about, I want to focus in on the gym scene because it
Hmm.
feels it's insane. That whole scene is so weird and out of
So
place.
so basically Clark Kent has to go on a series of dates with the girl, the new
Owner's-
girl, the owner's
yeah.
daughter.
Which is weird because I
Bit of
genuinely thought
nepotism.
him and Lois Lane were dating, but okay.
No, she's dating exclusively
She's dating
Superman.
Superman.
Yeah,
She doesn't know
she's-
about.
Oh,
She's
okay.
fucking Superman.
Okay.
So
and
he's
so
anyway.
watch
This girl,
Clark Kent
there's
kill
is her
himself.
name Lucy or Lacey or
Sure.
Lacey.
Lacey.
Lacey?
Yeah.
Fancies the tits off him and is like, well, I think you should do a panel that's all about like nightlife and going out and like things
Yeah.
to do in Metropolis. And he's like, cool. And then she's like, so I'm going to take you to all the best clubs. And they start off at a gym.
The best date scene to go on.
And then the whole time he's pretending to not be strong and he's being all clumsy. He's like, "Oh no, I'm a silly Clark Kent. Oh
Silly
It's
ooh
all
no."
part
boy.
of the shtick, and then he
Silly
throws a
ooh
massive
boy.
weight directly at a man.
Yeah.
Well, no, because admittedly, that man is wearing the shortest shorts in the world.
Oh yeah, I noticed.
Has like weird homoerotic energy.
Shorter than everyone's favourite twink from the last movie Poppy was on. Not
Yeah.
Matilda.
Probably. No.
Yeah,
Impossible.
I'll say maybe.
No one's
Um,
got cute Bobby legs
who-
like Bobby.
He wields it different. This guy wields the short shorts as a weapon. Though.
Yeah, he knew about it.
He was so prepared with those shorts, and he's
Come
a
on,
dick to
Clarky.
Superman. Yeah, he's a dick to Superman, to Clark Kent. He takes a piss out of him because he can't lift weights, and then he gets weights thrown at him. I think that guy's flirting with Clark Kent, not with the girl.
Mm.
And Clark Kent just misread it. I think that's what's happening there.
This episode is sponsored by Grey Issue 4, a comic book series that I've written and is currently funding on Kickstarter. It's the story of an ex-undercover cop who is back from the dead to take down the mob he was infiltrating. But now he's made of concrete. When you pledge, you can get digital and physical copies, posters, sketch cards of yourself, some of the original artwork, and there's even the chance to be drawn into the comic book yourself. Any backer will also receive the digital backlog as soon as I can send it out to you. The issue is funding until the 3rd of April, so check it out. The link is in the show notes. Back to the episode.
So
yeah,
Nuclear Man, we
hate
find
that
out that because he was born of the sun,
he gets his power
he,
from the
he
sun.
can't use his powers while in the dark.
Yeah, just
And
as well he wasn't
they're-
picking any fights at night, eh?
Which
They're
they
very
then-
inconsistent with this because sometimes he passes out when he's just indoors in a place with windows, like when
Yes.
he goes to visit Lex.
Yes, but
Um,
then other times he can dive into the center of a volcano and be
Yeah.
fine.
Yeah, half
There's,
half man, half canary.
Yeah,
When he goes to visit Lex, there's a scene that genuinely made me laugh quite a lot where he picks up Alan from 2.5 Men with his powers.
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And he goes, "Oh no!"
Yeah, that was the
Oh,
campest.
no.
Oh no! Everyone was like, "Oh no!
Oh, no.
Oh no!
Oh my! Put me down! Oh my god! So yeah, the Lex Luthor Nuclear Man relationship constantly reminded me of the Rocky Horror Picture Show.
Yeah.
You know when he creates guy in
That
the golden
golden
shorts.
dude.
What's
Yeah.
his name? I can't. It's probably
I
something
don't
like
know, I've
him.
not seen that movie.
Oh my god! What?
What?
I don't
A
know.
quick pause. What?
I don't know, we'll watch it at some point. It's on the list of Dan, how have you
But
watch
watched
it? I didn't
it?
really
you
tell
know
you
the
that.
time warp. You did it at that
Yeah.
party.
Yeah, it tells you how to do the dance.
That's
the,
true.
That's the lyrics.
No,
It's,
that is true.
This is how you do the dance to
That
this.
is how you do the time warp.
It's
But
true.
what? What? No, I need to put what? How have you not? It's such a good film.
I don't know. I've just
Yeah, it's great.
not got.
Oh, it's
not
such
I
a-
remember seeing it a bit
Amazing
young
film.
and being baffled.
Yeah, no, I think it caused a lot of awakenings. That film.
Side
a
note, did I
lot of
tell you guys
realizations.
that so I'm related to this. I may have murdered Meatloaf.
The
All right,
guy
Kobe, what are you
or the,
talking
the food?
The actor and singer. Well, because
Mhm.
well,
No,
I'm
please.
not
explain.
saying that I'm psychic or anything.
Or that she
Okay.
got him with a knife.
for
Yeah,
context,
I'm not
yeah,
saying- I'm not saying
I'm
I'm
also
Yeah,
psychic.
for
not a
legal
murderer.
purposes,
Probably
you
not
should
saying
clarify that
confess.
first.
Look, I'm not saying I'm psychic, but I stabbed it.
Yeah, but for legal reasons, I did not murder Meatloaf. But a few
Mhm.
years back, the day that Stan Lee passed away.
This is not where I thought this would start.
Yeah, no, this is sort of the setup to the story. The day that Stan Lee passed away, completely out of the blue, I hadn't mentioned him in months. I said, Stan Lee's quite old, you know, he's probably going to die any day now. And then later that day, we got the news. So
Mhm.
from then on, I was like, oh my god, what if I'm a death omen?
Never mentioned
So
it again.
fast forward to the day before Meatloaf died, I was meeting up with my family, and my brother was talking about going to a Comic-Con where Meatloaf was one of the guests. And it was only Meatloaf from this list of celebrities pictured that I mentioned. And I said, I think if I met Meatloaf, I'd die.
By that logic,
you
you
don't
should
have
be
to-
dead, not Meatloaf.
You don't have, but
It's
you don't
just
have
a
to
little
worry about
creepy
that
is all I'm
anymore.
saying.
You don't have to worry about that anymore.
Yeah, I
So,
think if you met Meatloaf now, you'd
also-
definitely die.
Also, if you met Meatloaf, like he was anti-vax, so like you might have.
I'm not
I'm sorry, Poppy,
saying.
we're not buying it. You should be dead.
Well, well, it was a couple of days later, and I was like, well, maybe I could test it out to my benefit. So I was thinking,
Jeffrey Bezos has
I
been
should,
around
I
a
should,
while.
I should try and mentally get like a politician. I
We
had
all know
none,
who
I
you're
had
thinking
none
about.
in
You shouldn't
mind,
say it
and
out
that's
loud.
why I think this
No
only
one say the quiet bit loud, please. No one say the quiet bit loud.
Right. And then the next day is when Arnold Schwarzenegger got in that car crash in that ridiculously oversized car. So I didn't quite get him because I was not specific enough. But he used to be a governor.
Yeah.
I want to
yeah.
talk about Spider. Nope.
I think let's talk about Spider-Man.
Yeah, this went way off the rails. I wanted to tell someone about it, and for legal reasons,
You didn't kill
I-
Meatloaf. I did.
yeah, and
Um,
I don't often talk about murdering politicians.
No. We're going to be on a list. Well, at least we've got another listener in the.
Oh man, building up our listener by the MI5 having to listen to every episode now.
Yeah. Yeah. Anyway, Superman. I thought I thought you were going to talk about Rocky Horror Picture Show because you started that like you were going to talk about Rocky Horror Picture Show.
He's in Rocky Horror Picture Show.
No, I know he's in Rocky Horror Picture Show, but that isn't what you talked about. You talked about killing him.
Who,
By
Superman?
extension.
Yeah, Superman.
Yeah. Anyway, back to Superman.
Yeah,
I just
back to
I went off on a tangent.
There are two pinballs
it
in
was
Superman
nice.
4.
cool.
Yep.
were
One
there?
of
I
them is
didn't
the Black
notice.
Knight, and I couldn't identify the other one.
Oh, I did not.
Did they get
notice them.
destroyed?
No, I think one gets nearly beaten up.
Okay, so something we learn about Nuclear Man. He has fashionable nails which grow and are silver,
And
and he's
they
a little bit sassy.
They start off pretty long, but by the end they get like clickety clackety.
Yeah, he's
I
wearing
work in a nail salon and have to advertise with
He's
my
wearing
nails.
acrylics, is what he's wearing.
Yeah.
and they can damage Superman.
Yes, because they're sun based.
But they don't kill Superman, they give him a flu.
Yes, he also creates steam
Maybe
a
he
lot.
just had really dirty nails.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
He
He's
got
just
an
giving him
infection.
like tetanus.
That
but
is
it's
Superman's weakness.
tetanus.
Talking
Tetanus.
about weird powers, Superman can cook a chicken through a wall without burning the wall.
Yeah,
It was a
he
duck.
had specific duck cook vision.
Yeah,
But
don't
he
get
does
me
that to
started on
distract
his.
Lois Lane. Like, that was
Yeah.
very
Yeah.
strange.
Because
Don't
this,
also-
get me
this is
started
during...
on his Great Wall of China rebuilding
Oh,
eyes.
fuck, that
Oh,
would-
I forgot
I
about
lo-
that. Yeah,
I
this was
loved
my
his-
least favourite scene. It
Oh.
was
I
so
loved his-
pointless.
I loved his repair vision. It's great.
Yeah, because essentially after doing the whole switching in and out of being Clark Kent and Superman, which did have a couple of good Texas switches in terms of like the actual filmmaking, but
Yeah.
then it was just him and Nuclear Man flying around the world, and Nuclear Man would fuck something up, and Superman would fix it.
Hmm.
You
And-
forgot there's a great scene where Superman confronts Lex and he just immediately rumbles exactly what he did. He's like, I suspect you took a strand of my hair, put it into a missile, and launched it to the sun. How could you possibly know that?
I
Maybe
think that's
that's
just to
how-
fill in the audience that tuned out at that point.
I didn't check the exact time zones, but during the
Mhm.
course of this fight, they fly from the US to China to Italy, and none of those
places
are in nighttime.
Yeah, but they destroyed part of the Great Wall of China. Nuclear Man
Superman
does.
gets his cape punched off.
Yeah. Does Is repair vision like a general Superman? I don't know much about
I don't
Superman.
know whether it
I
was
thought he
just
had
that
like
the
telekinesis. kind
yeah,
of
like
thing.
the effects weren't good, and he was just trying to telekinetically place the bricks back, but they couldn't do that with CGI.
He just did full
Superman.
replacement.
Superman has Duck Cook
Does he
vision,
have-
rebuild ancient monument vision, and he also has freeze breath volcano vision.
Yeah, he
it
has
only
freeze breath,
applies to
and
the
he-
Great
oh.
Wall of China.
He
Yeah.
has volcano butt plug vision.
Yeah,
Yes.
which volcanoes are all about pressure. I feel like just closing the top of a volcano doesn't stop it
That's
from
gonna
erupting.
make it
That's how you
worse.
explode the side of a volcano.
Yeah, I feel like that's going to make it worse later. But Superman's not around at that point, so it's
Also,
not his
it's
fault.
Mount Etna, right?
Yes, I don't know.
Or is it Vesuvius? I don't know.
So after flying around the world, they get back to New York, and not New York, it would be whatever.
Metropolis.
Yes. And
Gotham.
Nuclear Man picks up the Statue of Liberty, and I fully thought he was going to do a 9/11 with the Statue of Liberty, but instead he does a Cloverfield, because he's flying towards the two towers while carrying the Statue of Liberty, and I'm like, oh no.
Oh no.
But instead he just tries to throw it on the floor, and Superman picks it back up and puts it back, because he just has to fix everything as it happens.
Yeah, that's how it works. He uses
Superman
magic.
locks Nuclear Man in an elevator
Yeah,
and puts him on the moon, but somehow a little crack of light goes through and powers him up again. But why didn't that happen when they were on Earth?
Yeah, and then he comes out, and my favourite bit is where he punches Superman into the moon. Like, he
Yes,
just,
like a whack-a-mole, just keeps hitting him on the head.
and he's just going further and further into the moon.
Do you guys remember when this is, I think, shortly afterwards, he takes Lacey to the space?
yes,
Yes,
yeah.
and
And
she's
she
not wearing a
doesn't die.
spacesuit, but she's
can
just
breathe in
fine.
space.
She doesn't,
No,
like,
she
implode or whatever you're supposed to do in space.
Not
This
only
is-
does she not die, but when Superman uses the absolutely bananas tactic of moving the moon in front of the sun to create an eclipse,
That's how it works, isn't
while
it?
Nuclear Man just floats into the abyss of space, she falls down,
Yeah.
and
She is
Superman has
also-
to catch her.
Space
It
has
seems really
gravity.
weird that they made that choice of, like, we're going to set this in space, but we're not going to have any sort of space kind
Right.
of mechanics for this girl. Like, there's going to be wind in her hair. She's going to be being able to move about. She's not going to be freezing to death.
I feel
Yeah.
like
Well,
a lot of
I'm
this movie
thinking
was
about the
them just going,
millions
"This'll
killed
do."
by the tidal forces of the moon being sucked to
Yeah.
one side.
Yeah, you don't want to be a low-lying coastal village right now, do you?
No,
Ew.
no, they're all dead. You also don't want to be that village near the volcano.
Also, what the fuck is it not interfering? If
What?
yeah, he's told to not interfere, and he's now
Oh, yeah.
moving the Earth's satellite.
Yeah.
He-
I feel like they set the fights in space because space is really good. Space is great for setting fights in because it's empty. There's nothing entertaining to like bounce off of, and it's just flat ground. There's no better fight scene.
Yeah, they
Then
just
in
fly-
space-
they just go around in front of a green screen, and then
Don't
make
forget
it
the bit
in
where he
background.
picks up the USA flag.
Oh, of
Yeah, he
course,
does and
because
puts it
America.
back because America. Fucking,
Truth,
I fucking
justice,
hate
and the
this movie.
American way.
Right.
Oh, I hate
No,
this
he
movie.
puts Nuclear Man's corpse, or I guess he's not dead, he's just
Corpse.
immobile, into a power plant.
Yeah,
And
which is an
then-
awful torture for the rest of his existence.
Yep. And then
Efficient,
he
though.
puts Alan into a religious school and takes Lex back to prison.
To the
And
same prison he
then
just broke out of.
Superman has caused world peace.
I
Apart
thought
from
he
all
hadn't
the-
called
You
Word
forgot the
Peace. I
part
thought-
where he picks Alan from 2.5 Men. I've forgotten the name of his character. I'm going to refer to him as Alan.
Lenny.
From 2.5 Men.
Lenny Luther.
And Lex up in the most wacky racist ass looking car you've ever seen.
And they're both dressed amazingly. I just want
Yeah.
to point that their fashion sense is great throughout the film. Yeah, no, he just picks them up, and then Lenny's like, "You'll never believe this, hey Lex, Uncle Lex."
Oh, and when Lex returns to the prison colony, they're all whistling Mozart.
Yeah, I think he was whistling before he escaped.
Yeah, that's what he was whistling with
Yeah.
before to show that he's,
I
Brainy.
hate this film. I hate this
I
film.
didn't read that deep into it, to be honest.
No.
I assumed it was just because of his hair.
I had to switch players when I was watching this because one just sort of gave up on me.
You're completely legal.
Yeah,
When
yeah,
you say
you know,
players, you mean
DVD
DVD
player
player.
broke.
Yeah, you mean DVD player, but your
Yeah.
DVD player broke.
my
We've
disc
got,
drive.
we've got you covered. Yeah,
And then so I went onto my
yeah. To get a
other
second
DVD.
DVD
I
player, yeah.
got my video cassette out.
Yeah.
And that one, when you hover over it, the first
Mm-hmm.
one was how much time you've got left. The second one was total time. So I hovered over it about half an hour, and it said that there was an hour and a half left, and I was like, "What?"
Oh, it felt like it though.
It really did. I was glad when this movie was over.
Yeah. Although it did sort of make me realize why no modern Superman has ever worked. Because you can't do Superman like gritty and edgy and like
No.
He's too
not.
pure
He's-
and irritating.
he's also just all of his powers are so fucking stupid
Yeah.
that
He's
you
meant
can't
to
do
be
them
sort of a
seriously.
goofy character.
Like, the dark and brooding is Batman. That's what Batman's for. You can't have Superman be dark and brooding. He's meant
It
to
doesn't
be
work.
like an enigma of hope and peace. But I've never really liked Superman because his weakness is a rock every villain happens to have.
Yes,
Uh,
and
His weakness is
Batman.
a rock if you throw it hard.
Yeah, no,
I was going to, yeah, my weakness is definitely a rock at the right time.
Yeah.
but his powers are just so fucking stupid.
He's definitely got the power of convenient to the plot. Like,
Well, he has his core powers, which is X-ray
Laser eyes?
vision, laser, heat vision, cold breath, flight, immortality, impossible to rip clothes.
looks like a bird or a plane from a distance.
Yep.
Uh,
Cool cape billowing powers and wind breath, powerful wind breath, and can
then
turn
you
back
get
time by
into
flying.
Sort of
Yeah,
the real specific stuff to this movie. Chicken cooking abilities through a wall.
Mm-hmm.
It was a duck.
Oh, and of course, I do
Sorry, I've said that
apologise.
once already.
And
It was no, it's very
Alright.
practical. I just want to say the reason it's important it's a duck is that she's cooking this for dinner, right?
Yeah.
And these guys have already got there, and it's a whole duck. When was she
What?
planning on serving dinner? Because that would have taken hours. Have you ever
I-
cooked a duck? They take forever.
I think it's brave of you to be calling us out for saying the wrong thing here. Spider-Man 4.
Fuck. I'm gonna stay quiet now.
So yeah, Spider-Man is he's got stupid powers. And yeah, he's got like he uses the cold breath and the heat vision.
Not to mention the
Um,
web.
What?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Great Wall of China rebuilding eyes.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's it. It is
He's just
so
too
annoying.
OP, and it's like you're kind of a dickhead if you don't try and fix the world's problems.
Yeah.
But also, you can't do those and look cool. There's no way to like animate heat vision to look cool. It looks shit no matter how you do it.
I mean, I think there are more cool ways than cooking a duck.
Yeah, you have
Yeah.
to like really lean into it being campy.
Why doesn't
At
he
that
just
point.
melt Nuclear Man's insides? Or kill
Because-
Lex Luthor, or whatever.
Yeah, just murder Lex Luthor.
Or
You have all
maim
of the
him,
power
or,
in
you
the
know,
world,
lobotomize him. A little
Yeah,
bit of
just, like,
targeted radiography.
Take a knee out or something. You don't have to kill him. I
Just
don't
take
know,
him
I
into
don't-
space and leave him there.
I don't like Superman.
No,
It's
me neither.
stupid.
The films have never appealed to me. The only thing I liked about this film is how glossy his hair is.
It's incredible.
Oh,
I also
the
like that his-
beautiful little finger waves in them.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah, also liked how much noise his cape made. They made it
Yeah.
out of like latex or something. There's so much flapping noises.
I sort of enjoyed. To be clear, I didn't enjoy the scene where Lacey and Lois are dating Clark and Superman at the same time.
It's
But
called polyamory.
the ridiculous ways in which Clark is trying to not be in the same room as Superman were great, including being pushed by a cart full of luggage
Mhm.
just out of the building.
Well,
And she's like, "Oh, Clark."
oh, geez, I forgot my recorder. Oh, I should go. Oh, geez, how has no one worked out that man is Superman yet?
Yeah, these journalists are hella dumb.
Fucking idiots.
Or
They
maybe
are
he
hella
just
dumb.
fries their
Ah,
brains
that-
every time they do work it out.
Talking about them being dumb reminds me of one of my favorite lines in the whole film was when they were first having the newspaper like taken over. There's a bit where Lacey's like, all trips are cancelled, and Lois Lane's like, you mean my trip to Paris is cancelled? Like,
Yeah.
that's what all
Yes.
means.
Yeah, they've just said the company is broke. They've
Yeah.
not made a profit for 3
Yeah.
years, and she's like, "What? I can't go to Paris. It's not all about you, Lois."
Do you think?
Please they've allowed the company to go on for 3 years without making any money.
Yeah, I also like how the guy that buys it. It's like every bad thing that happens in the town, in the city, is that guy's fault. Like
And at the end,
all
He's
of the
just
Lex
excited
Luthor
about
stuff,
it
like, it's his-
inappropriately.
The
Yeah,
guy
but it's
who
not
owns the
his
Daily
fault.
Planet, he's able to buy the other shares because he talked to the bank and they're like, yeah, they just decided they wanted to give me the money now.
Yeah,
Fucking
it's
stupid.
it's really not how shares work either. Like there is a finite amount, of, like in a limited company. You can't just
Yeah,
buy the majority, and normally like the person who is the current majority has the option to like refuse.
It did
That
have
bugged me
some-
because it was just a real cop out.
Yeah,
it did have
that's the
some-
plot hole that ruins the movie for me.
Yeah, it did actually have some nice, like, physical effect explosions, though, at one point when Nuclear Man is blowing up some cars for some reason.
Yeah, when he's being
Yeah.
a bad guy, but isn't bad enough to actually kill anyone,
Yeah.
which is just weird considering he's made by Lex Luthor, who seems pretty,
Lex Luthor
evil.
wants to kill literally everyone.
I
I
Yeah.
also like how Nuclear Man talks down to Lex Luthor. It's great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's just mean
His
to-
voice was terrible though.
Oh, yeah, awful. The same as his outfit.
If
He's
you
so
Alex-
think this-
growly.
if you
I thought
think-
it was Arnie at first.
Mm.
His voice is Lex Luthor's voice for some reason.
Yeah, but
so,
kind of put on.
but
Yeah.
he's genetically created from Superman, so why wouldn't he have Clark's voice?
because that makes
Because he
sense.
mixed it in with Luthor's DNA as well to make him Luthor's kind of son.
So Luthor came in a box.
I guess.
Yeah, it's basically Superman's hair, Luthor's cum.
Spider-Man's
He put Superman's hair in a glass jar, did a
came
cum in
in
it,
it, shot it into the sun.
shot it into the sun, and then we got a little baby.
You
And
got-
now he has to, after 18 years of child support payments to the son,
Mm.
Nuclear Man was allowed to come down and reign terror on Earth.
Oh, he's
Yeah.
his literal son.
Hmm.
Aw.
Okay, so with that comment, out of 10, no, that comment, the film as a whole, because I can't imagine it's going to be high for anyone.
I'm going to give this one cooked duck
Wow.
out of 10. I really didn't enjoy any moment of it.
What? That's shocking.
Like, I've not had a great deal to say about this, but yeah, God, it was actually,
it was,
it was
just
such a
bad.
chore.
It was
It was
just
such a chore to
bad.
watch.
Like, it
Normally,
wasn't
if something's bad, I get a bit of enjoyment out of how bad it is, but this one was just like,
It was just bad. Why did they make it? Why did they think they could
Um,
get away with it?
I think I will give it 2 catastrophic tsunamis from the moon being pulled out of orbit out of 10. I've said
Yeah.
before, as far as I'm concerned, you get a 1 just for presenting me a movie. If you turn the camera on, that's a 1 as far as I'm concerned. The extra 1, I think, just comes from the nostalgia of I really love the other Christopher Reeve Superman movies, and it just crushes me, this movie.
it did end the
Mhm.
franchise from the sounds of things.
It
Here
did,
we
yeah.
are. Another one to add to the hit list. We've now talked about another film that killed franchises.
I will give this 2 cancelled trips to Paris out of 10. Like, it had some bits that I thought were all right, like, but overall it was kind of half the time I didn't know where the plot was going. I say it was just kind of
Oh,
like,
neither did the actors.
yeah, it's like, oh, Nuclear Man's doing this and Superman's fixed it, and now Nuclear Man's doing this and Superman's fixed it, and now he's doing this and now he's fixed it, and now it's over.
Yeah, no, it's
I
done.
did go
Fine.
to, I think I went to go and fill up my glass with squash, and I came back and I was a bit lost, so I rewound and watched the bit I missed and was still like
Yeah,
not
no.
sure what happened, and it was like, okay, I guess this is just the film.
Yeah, no one cares. No one cares about the story, the plot of this film, especially the actors in it. Is as far as I can tell. I'll give it a 2. I'll give it a 2 because 1 is reserved for like the
Hmm.
bottom. I've seen films so bad that the
Yeah, 1 is
one
reserved
is-
for like if
one is like down.
This
bad.
is
movie will not
kind of
play
making
in
me
my
think-
region.
Is Southland Tales that bad?
No, Southland Tales isn't the worst film ever. It's the worst film we've talked about on here. It's not the worst film I've ever seen. It's bad though, so that gets a 1. Southland Tale gets a 1. This film gets a 2 because it's not like the worst film I've ever seen. I'd argue that there are worse films, and that's the minimum. 1 is reserved for special kind of bad. This was general bad.
The music was good.
Oh, the music was
Yeah, but
wonderful. It
I
just
feel
kept
like
stopping and
there's,
starting.
there's no, you can't really give Spider-Man, nope.
No, you can't give Spider-Man.
you can't give Superman 4 credit for it having good music because it is just the Superman music from the other films.
Yeah.
Like there's no
Yeah.
there's no original score in this.
That's true.
Like if you want a Superman movie with a good score, watch like go and watch any of the
Any
others.
Superman movie.
Yeah.
Or just
Like it's John
Like,
Williams at his
go on
finest. Like
YouTube, type in Superman music, you'll get it.
Well,
I hate this movie.
yeah, let's stop talking about it. I've been Dan.
I've been Michael.
I've been Spider-Man.
I've been Poppy.
You can find this podcast on Twitter and Instagram at Hilton Pod. That's at HILTM Pod. We're on Discord and everything as well. Leave us a review. You can review us on Spotify now. So leave us a nice 5 stars, please.
Don't fucking watch this film.
I don't want to talk about this film anymore.
Okay, we're done.
Uh,
Bye.
Not Spider-Man. 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 Spider-Man and Spider-Man.